Ladies and gentlemen, tonight is a very special episode of the PTE Network. And by very special episode, I mean in like the 80s sitcom sort of way of very special episodes, which means we're going to be dealing with some heavy shit in this one. This is not trivia. This is not. There will be some laughs, I'm sure, because of the people that I have on with me. But this is not going to be your standard fun-filled episode of the PT Network. Let's just put it that way. I'm Mike. I'll be the host for this evening. As we are basically going to call this episode, I guess in my mind, I call it the Fuck Cancer episode. Because as many of the members of the community know, and some might not. And oh, by the way, if you're somehow listening to the PT Network for the very first time, this is not the episode to start with. This episode is going to get very personal, I'm sure, but we're gonna have a conversation and about some of our hosts that have been directly affected by cancer, by having it, and we're gonna talk about some of their experiences, and we're kind of winging it a little bit. But we are going to start, of course, with the all important question of how you doing, what you drinking. And I will start with the man who invited me on to come do this, Mr. Christopher Ligori. Sir, how you doing and what you drinking?
Mike, I am doing well. It's been a day. Work was especially hectic today and this week, and needed a drink. Got off of work right when my daughter was home for about 20 minutes. She wanted to go in the pool, so didn't even get a drink then. So just now sat down because I was watching my Cubbies lose to your Braves again.
Sorry.
Literally, as I was mixing my drink, it was 1-1 in the eighth, and now it's 4-1. And I turned the game off. I'm like, well, I got to go talk to Mike now.
Sorry.
But no, I've been looking forward to sitting down with two of my best friends and having a drink. I mixed myself a Ligori Manhattan, as we call it in the house. What that is it's 4 shots of bourbon, 2 shots of vermouth, 4 dashes of bitters, and 4 cherries with a dash of cherry juice. The vermouth is Martini and Rossi, as it always is. The bourbon is literally just called bourbon ready to drink. It's junk off the shelf stuff. It's a 4-year bourbon. It's literally the lowest barrel you can get while still earning the name bourbon, I think.
Wow.
But you know what? It's a good mixer. So cheers, y'all.
Cheers. And not for the faint of heart with
cheers.
Yeah, between 4 shots and bitters and everything, that is one alcoholic fucking drink.
Mm-hmm.
And how's your tolerance these days?
We're gonna find out.
I guess we are.
It has not been great. Like the tolerance is shot still. So
yeah.
Because what I realized, Mike, is like when we first started doing these shows, like 6 years ago or so, right? Like my tolerance was fine because we'd be playing softball 1 or 2 nights a week. We'd go out on like Friday or Saturday night. Like I was drinking, not regularly. I wasn't drinking a ton, but I was drinking regularly.
Yeah.
Since my 6 month sobriety, I only drink on the recordings, which is once, maybe twice a week. And even then it's usually a drink.
Right.
So yeah, tolerance is shot. This is going to be fun.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
The cherries are at the bottom of the glass, by the way. So I'm going to do some work here.
They're just soaking it all in.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope our listeners are soaking it all in as we head over to the young lady you just heard laughing. Brittany, dear, how are you doing and what are you drinking?
I am doing all right. I actually took a couple days vacation this week, and today was my first day back. After taking 2 days vacation, I came into about 60 emails that I had to go through and deal with. So today's been a day, but I'm really excited to do this, and I want to say hornswoggled, but I don't think that's the right word, but it's the word that's coming to mind.
It's a good word.
I feel like I kind of hornswoggled Chris into doing this with me because it's something that I wanted to do but needed to not do it by myself. So,
sure.
So I'm relatively excited to, discuss stuff.
Is that the right term to use?
It's not the right term, but I'm prepared to talk, I guess. Okay. As far as what I'm drinking, a few weeks ago, I had the beautiful golden opportunity to go to Jay and Quincy Borsum's vow renewal ceremony. And our friends over at Black Horizon Brewing Company were very kind to supply beers of various varieties for people who were there who were of drinking age. And we ended up with some leftovers. And by some, I mean about 2 flat packs of leftovers. So I grabbed one of those that I didn't actually get to try there because I didn't go for this flavor, but it's a bit chilly here tonight, so I thought have a porter while it's still a little chilly. But this is Pretzel Wagon, which is a chocolate pretzel porter.
Nice.
From Black Horizon.
Sounds delicious.
So.
You all right there, Chris?
You're killing me, Smalls. You're killing me.
I can pull one aside for you for when you're up here for SporkleCon.
Oh, I'm already, like, my head already kind of went to is like, we're going to have like the PTE. I'm hopefully going to have like a PTE house where like all the networks and like people can stay and we can hang out. And so I was already thinking like, I wanted to get like beer and stuff for the fridge for those that are staying there. Like that might be the perfect place to go get some beers from.
Yeah. Oh, they're a great place to grab beers from. So, very long-standing venue for Liquid Courage Entertainment. So,
love it.
Yeah,
nice.
Mike,
Excellent.
how you doing? What are you drinking?
Oh, well, thank you for asking, Chris. So this is the last beer that's in my beer fridge. I need to go make a
Whoa
sometime soon. I know. This is from the Soul and Spirits Brewing Company, which is out of Memphis, Tennessee, so just a little north of me. And it's called the Daydreamer Southern Pilsner. So it's a nice light beer. Pops like a champ. Look, I didn't slice my finger open. They give me a little bit of resistance. That's good. Tastes like a Pilsner.
So real quick, forced perspective is a real thing because when you first like held that beer up in your hand, like to the mic, it looked like a Foster's can.
Yeah.
And then as you got it closer to your head, I'm like, I know Mike is small, but like, then it's like, okay, it's just a 12 ouncer. Yeah, Brittany's got a 16 ouncer. She got the tall boy,
which is the size of my head.
No.
Yes.
Or the height of my head, I should say. I don't have a 16-ounce head.
Yeah, definitely.
Jeopardy participants don't have 16-ounce heads.
Yeah.
It's at least 20.
Yeah, for sure. Got to have somewhere to store all that knowledge, right?
Yeah, that's why my head is so small. Don't laugh. That's so rude.
You have like the biggest head I've ever seen.
You got tons of knowledge.
Exactly, because of all that knowledge. It's just useless.
Wow, like you're not wrong, but still. Hey, Mike, could you compliment something above my waist there? That'd be really nice.
No. Don't act so shocked.
Aaron.
Hi, husband.
Oh, hi,
Hi,
Aaron.
not husband. Hi, not husband. Hi, not husband.
Future husband.
We have a cameo appearance.
I'm not going to sing that Megan Trainor song to you, Ligori, no matter how much you try and get me to. Oh,
you got kissy faces.
I did get kissy face, but I want to kiss your lips for real. Damn. Gene Simmons called.
Oh.
Leah is a lucky woman. That's all I'm going to say about that. Damn.
So this is going its usual degree of terrible.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, how else do you really introduce an episode like this other than just kind of winging it?
Even the very special episodes of the 80s family sitcoms, they always started you out with humor, right? They baited you and then they drew you in, right?
I mean, let's be clear. Matt Dinneman's doing that right now with Parade of Horribles.
Well, yeah. Don't say nothing.
I'm only on book
5
one.
books behind, so yeah. Well, Brittany's
the
even
book
further
8,
behind
there
than I
is a scene with one of my favorite characters that I found myself laughing out loud driving to work this morning, and then within 3 minutes was like, I feel so bad for this person. I am this close to tears. He does it so well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Where he pulls in humor and then tears your heart out like quickly.
Yep.
So
Podcast.
Absolutely.
Good. Because it's time for the return of Duncan McSuns Out, Guns Out. There can be only one tank top.
Tim's not here, bro.
I know. There's
one,
the only one.
There is only one.
So.
Exactly.
Tank top?
Fine. Hold on. I don't have a tank top, but I'll roll these bitches up.
Oh,
In solidarity.
That's right.
Consolidarity or in solidarity?
Something like that.
Both.
Consigliere? I don't know.
Okay, you're not Robert Duvall. You're not a consigliere.
That's why I like my fiber.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So.
Okay.
Have a good show, everybody.
Thanks, Aaron. I guess we'll get started.
Sure.
So let's
10 minutes
see.
in, why not?
What's that? 10 minutes
10
in.
minutes
yeah,
in, why
exactly.
not?
That's about right. All right. Well, I guess so yeah, as has been said, fuck cancer. You guys have both had experiences with it. Brittany's yours was very recent. If memory serves, you found out you were cancer free right around the time we first met at SporkleCon. So
yes,
that was just last year. Yeah,
that happened week of SporkleCon, I believe.
It was.
And we celebrated with a wedding, which was amazing.
Yep.
Yes,
absolutely.
Wedding to my husband, Aaron, who you just heard.
That's right. That was a big weekend.
Hold on. That might be the only non-family wedding where I was in the wedding party and they didn't end up divorced.
Yeah. I mean, proud to be that so far.
Yeah.
So
you cursed us, Ligori.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I love you guys. You know that, right?
Well, of course. There's nothing but love here. So, and then let's see, Chris, I was trying to remember exactly. I remember your diagnosis was what, 5 years ago?
So my diagnosis is weird. I ended up in the ER the day after Christmas 2021.
Okay.
And that kind of led to, it wasn't the diagnosis, but it led to the ER doctor coming in and saying, we don't know what's going on, but you need to go see a doctor. Yeah. So really, I got my diagnosis at the beginning of 2022, but that was kind of like the launching point for it.
Okay. So a little over 4 years ago then.
Yeah.
And I think that's a, I think there's a lot of folks, a lot of stories from cancer survivors where it's that that's how it started, right? Something's going on, we don't know what it is. Mm-hmm. And then that's what it ends up being. Brittany, how about
so that
you?
Was
what
the
was
thing. That's not what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, that's not what it was for me though. Okay. I ended up having to have my gallbladder taken out, and even like I've talked to.
Oh, that's right.
My I've talked to both. I have multiple doctors now because I'm old. But I talked to like my primary, and I talked to the cancer doctor, my urologist at the local cancer center, and they both said like this shouldn't have happened. Like if you didn't go to the ER and you didn't get scanned, you wouldn't have known for a year.
Yeah.
And so like they called it like a godsend finding or a miracle finding. I'm like, yeah,
sure.
I'm happy to be here. I'm alive, so like, I'm
Absolutely.
gonna take it.
Yeah, and I mean, with mine, which I guess we should probably just early on talk about what type of cancer we had. Sure. I had melanoma, so a skin cancer. Chris, I think yours was inside your body.
Yeah, I was diagnosed with kidney cancer, clear cell renal cell carcinoma.
Right. So, so yours was, definitely would have been kicked off by some sort of exam that would be otherwise looking for something else that was wrong.
Right.
Mine, was visible.
Right.
I had actually, so my melanoma was on my back right shoulder. And I had gotten it checked about 6 or 7 years ago, maybe more than that. But when I was out of college about a year or two, so I guess about 2015. So I guess it was 10 years. How time flies.
Yeah. No doubt.
About 2015, I went in and saw a dermatologist, and because I'm allergic to the sun, and I freckle really easily. If you've met me in person, that's not a surprise to you. If you haven't met me in person, know that I did a 23andMe and it came back like 99.8% like British Isles white. So like,
I'm shocked.
I'm
shocked, I'd say.
I don't have that thing where you tan. I get freckles. But I had this dark freckle on my back that I decided to go get checked out 10 years ago. They did a skin biopsy. They told me it was benign. They froze it off anyway. All good. Come 10 years later, I guess really the year before, my parents saw it when I was visiting them, and they're like, you should really get that checked out. And I was like, well, I mean, I've had it checked out and it was fine. So I didn't know that tumors can become malignant even if they were benign. I thought I got that checked out years ago. It's fine. So I didn't take it too seriously when my parents were like, you should probably go get that looked at. I had friends, family tell me, that doesn't look great. Are you sure it's okay? I'm like, yeah, it's fine. It's fine. I got it checked out. It came back benign. Everything's good. And then, like, I kid you not, I was listening to podcasts, those ones where people read Reddit stories, like they read the Am I the Asshole stories, and they, just kind of talk it out with a group. And on a couple of those shows, there was a sponsor called ZocDoc. And I don't know, I think I was listening to like Smosh reads Reddit stories or something like that, and they did an ad for ZocDoc. And I was like, you know what? I really have been putting off, like seeing doctors as like, I mean, I had seen my primary care doctor. But earlier that year I had been in the ER for what ended up being diverticulitis, and they wanted me to follow up with a GI doctor. And so I was like, you know what? Let me go ahead and use this ZocDoc thing to find a GI doctor. So I did that. I was like, oh, while I'm in here, let me go look for dermatology. It really is quick and easy. If they ever want to sponsor the PTE network, I'm more than happy to read an ad for them. But
ZocDoc, ZocDoc, right?
ZocDoc, yeah. They basically allow you to see reviews and find local, whether it's specialized or general care near you. And you can also filter it by places that accept your health insurance. So you can take that guess out. So I went to a dermatologist, and they're like, yeah, no, that spot doesn't look good. We'll just take a little skin. We're going to go ahead and take a little swipe off of it, and we'll send it off to testing and blah, blah, blah. The same week, like literally, I think 2 to 5 days before, I had gone in for an endoscopy and colonoscopy. And then I had my dermatology appointment. So I was getting...
Hold on real quick, because I've been there. Mm-hmm. They did the endoscopy first, or they switched cameras, right?
I believe so. They did both at the same time, so I was unconscious for all of it.
I asked mine to make sure.
Yeah, you don't want those cameras used more than once.
Yeah.
Well, I'm okay if they use the endoscopy camera the other way, but if they flip-flop that, I got a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And it's probably in the form of an infection.
Yeah. So I had that done, and then I had the mole, the like dark spot on my back checked out. So the next week, I get the results like literally the same day, except my dermatologist called me, except I didn't get the phone when it rang because I was in a work meeting or something. And it was my dermatologist asking me to call her back. So I tried to call her because they said she had clinic hours until like 6:30. And then I did the thing that you're really not supposed to do. And that is go to my chart and look at the test results before you've had a chance to talk to your doctor.
Oh, yikes.
And so I went out there and I see malignant. And I'm like, oh, okay, so what does this mean? And I'm like literally doing a ton of web research on what melanoma means, what malignant means, what like the margins and everything that they're talking about, like looking up what all that means. Mm-hmm. And the next day they call me in the morning. They're like, hey, so unfortunately it is malignant and we're going to we have referred you to the team at Rush Hospital for oncology, surgical oncology. Somebody should be reaching out to you today or tomorrow. I'm like, okay. They're like, well, how are you feeling? I'm like, I haven't had time to process yet. So, then like an hour later, Rush calls me and they schedule me an appointment for that Friday. And so then I went that Friday and got checked out, and then they got me on, they're like, yeah, so what we're going to do is we need to remove it surgically. We can get you in, I don't know, like 3 weeks, I think is how long they were like, we can get you in 3 weeks. So got on the books for that.
Yeah.
So in some ways, I kind of feel like I speed ran cancer a little bit, because everything was happening so fast. I didn't feel like I had time to process anything. Mm-hmm. Chris, I don't know if your experience was like that.
So mine was different, and I want to start off by saying that, like, one, I'm very cautious about doing this because, one, I've been semi-private with my journey because my journey with it has very much tied into my mental health, and I am in therapy now and I have come to terms with it, but like a lot of what I've gone through ties back into familial history. So like to kind of paint the story, to put you in the, also, I'm also very concerned this comes off as like self-serving or as woe is me, and it's not my intent. Like, listen, my cancer got caught early. Let's be abundantly clear. I got caught early. It was what doctor called like a miracle finding or whatnot. And I am here. I am healthy. I am cancer free, and it's been 4 years, and I'm thankful for that every day of my life. Let's be abundantly clear here. But, like Leah and I got married in 2020. I lost my grandmother to cancer in 2020. Or no, sorry, 2014. Leah and I got married in 2014. I lost my grandmother to cancer in 2014. My daughter's middle name is Margaret, after my grandmother. My daughter was born in 2020. My mom passed from cancer in 2020.
Yep.
And so, like, for me, it seems like hallmarks of my life are kind of pinpointed by the biggest highs I could ever imagine, and then some of the darkest lows I could ever imagine. And I want to come out and say that my wife has been there with me through it all. Like, the hardest parts of my life, she's been there, and she's been my rock. When I fell apart and couldn't stand, my wife was the one by my side the entire time. So the fact that she had to kind of go through this with me, I am in awe of, because she handled it with more grace than I ever did. She handled it with more courage than I ever could, and is an inspiration to me to this day, because I am not that person, and she is 100% that person. I fell apart. So to kind of talk to my story, I ended up in the hospital. I was having really bad GERD issues, like gastric reflux issues. And I had ended up in the hospital back in like November of 2021. I thought I was having a heart attack. They're like, nope, no heart attack. You're good. It's gastric issues. Go see your gastroenterologist. Went to a gastroenterologist, had an endoscopy done. He's like, you know what? Yeah, like there's a small hernia in your esophagus, right where your stomach attaches. He's like, we'll put you on medication. We'll see if that works. The day after Christmas, which may have been hindered by having a couple of alcoholic beverages, it was like 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night, and my chest was burning. Like I was finding it hard to breathe. I had really bad chest pain. And Leah was with our daughter, like in her room. She could not take me to the hospital. Paige was trying to get to sleep. It's like 11:30 at night, and Leah goes, she goes like, you need to go see somebody. Call an ambulance. We'll pay for it. Ended up in the ER that night, was there till about 4 o'clock in the morning, and kind of the ER doctor came in and said, listen, we think this is tied to this. We think it's tied to your GERD. Yeah, your esophagus is rough. It looks really burned up with acid. We think it's that. But one of the things they had done while I was there was to order a CT scan, like a lower abdomen CT scan. So they basically scanned me from my hips up to my tits to see what was going on. And they found this really small mass in my kidney. And as kind of like the doctor, as he's doing just before the discharge, they come in, they talk to you before they let you go. And he's like, real talk, it's probably a cyst, but like, take it seriously. Go see your primary. And so I went to my primary. Primary took it very serious. He's like, we're going to get you into imaging. And I remember it was right after the New Year's. I got the imaging results, and my doctor's office called me. It was the nurse on the phone. And like, at no point up to this point has anyone said anything that like relates like, oh, like, it might be this. Like the ER doctor, I said, it's probably nothing. And I asked him, like, what was the worst case, best case scenario? He goes, best case scenario, it's this. Worst case scenario, it's cancer. And the nurse from the doctor's office called me and told me, and like, just knowing what I had been through the last 4 years or the last 8 years or whatever it was, like, I immediately broke, because all I could think of was, I'm young and I can't miss my daughter growing up. Mm-hmm. But my interaction with cancer had always been that you get it and it was gone. And I think like just the novice part of my brain, the reptilian part of my brain, or the monkey part of my brain said, this is bad. You will not survive. And I was in a bad place. I will say I got lucky in the fact that my doctor got me in to see a urologist here immediately named Dr. Klein. Dr. Klein kind of reviewed all the test results, and like I'll give a shout out to my aunt. My Aunt Janet was a 30 year ER nurse. She's seen everything. But I was talking to her kind of throughout this whole process, and real quick, I don't know how long I've been talking. I've been talking for too long. Please call me on it.
You're good, man.
But like she said, like she told me ahead of time, she said, like, get all your questions down on paper. It doesn't matter how dumb they are. Like, get all your questions down on paper. When you meet with a doctor, let's go through all these questions. And I had done my research. I knew kind of the questions that I had. And the first question I had is, how do I get transferred from this doctor over to, we're blessed. We're very blessed to have what we call Moffitt Cancer Center, which is like one of the premier cancer centers in the Southeast U.S. is right here in Tampa, associated with USF Health. And the question on the top of my list is, how do I get transferred from this doctor to them? I got lucky. The doctor that they got me into, Dr. Klein, Ivy League educated. I think it's Columbia, but I'm not sure. But like Ivy League educated, really smart guy. But he sat down. It was me and my wife, and my aunt was on the phone. And like, I was emotionally just a wreck. And he pulled me aside. He goes, listen, he goes, we're going to refer you out of Moffitt, because if I do the surgery, I'm taking the whole kidney. I don't want to take the whole kidney. He goes, from the early scans, looks like we caught it early. If we don't need to do that, I don't want to do that. He goes, but you have to toughen up. You have to think positive. You've got to kind of reimagine everything, because I've seen this with people, and the folks that can talk to themselves positively just genuinely do better with it. And that was like my wake-up call. I ended up, thank God, like he ended up, I remember this vividly. We were in the room with him, and he takes out his cell phone and he calls someone that he met while doing his fellowship, who worked as a urologist at Moffitt. And the guy he called ended up being like, oh yeah, I don't do that anymore. I've moved on. He goes, but this gentleman, his name is Dr. Manley. He goes, he does it all robotically, robotically. If anyone can at least save the kidney, it's going to be this guy. And they got me in like within a week to go see Dr. Manley at Moffitt. And literally within a week I was there, and the first thing he asked is like, we said, we're going to get imaging. That's fine. He goes, but like, what's going on with your gastro issues? And I said, well, they want to pull my gallbladder, yada, yada, yada. I said, but like, honestly, like, this takes priority. He goes, actually, it doesn't. Because gallbladder issues and gastro issues, they're only going to make the recovery worse. And so I ended up in the hospital having gallbladder surgery to have my gallbladder taken out. And then 3 weeks later, because it's on the other side of my body, apparently left. By the way, this is insane. Left and right matters in your internal organs. Like you can have surgery on your left side and then your right side and you're okay. But they ended up pulling within 3 weeks my gallbladder out and then my the tumor out of my left kidney.
So it picked a good kidney to be on then.
Yes, I got lucky.
There you go.
But like I vividly remember this. Leah's told me this story, but like, and this is I talk about my wife reasonably a lot. Maybe I don't talk about her at all. Maybe I don't know. But I feel like I talk about my wife a lot on the show. But like, one of the things that for me is astounding is like I know for a fact that my aunt flew down for my surgery. My aunt Janet flew down for my surgery because I wasn't going to be able to do anything for 4 to 6 weeks post surgery. I couldn't drive myself, and someone had to take Paige to school and pick her up from school. Someone had to get the groceries done. And I couldn't put it all on my way. So my aunt, God bless her, had retired. She flew down and took care of me like the entire time. But for the surgery, my aunt, my dad, and my wife all drove out, and my aunt and my dad stayed with Leah. And they didn't stay on campus. They went out. They had dinner, and they were just trying to find something to do to take my wife's mind off of it. But I found this out after is I was under for a long time. My surgery, I want to say, was like 7 hours long. And when they pulled me back, they couldn't get me out from anesthesia. And what they ended up finding out later was I was under like an hour past what they thought I was supposed to be under, to the point where they called Leah and brought her into the OR or into the recovery room to like hold my hand and talk to me just to get me to come out of it. Now, I've tried to put myself in this position, and the fact that she did that and like alone, like no one else is around, no one else is allowed back. It was one person. It was just my wife and a fucking rock. Like I remember coming out, like I vividly remember she's holding my left hand, slowly coming out of it, and all I could say was, I have chest pain. I have chest pain. I don't even know. It was probably something along the lines of like, this hurt real bad right here. This hurt real bad right here. But like the anesthesiologist was there, the surgeon was there, and they're like, we're checking. Like they had me hooked up. Like they're checking everything. Like it's not a heart attack. Like it could just be leftover GERD. But like she sat there for an hour, like holding my hand, talking to me, trying to get me out of it. And like that was kind of my journey through all of this. Yeah, I'd be honest with you, that was the story, and I don't remember what we were talking about. So I'm gonna have another drink.
It was just what your journey was like, finding out, and
that's what we're here for. And you know, to address what you were saying earlier, like in terms of, I forget what you said, self-indulgent or whatever. I feel like everybody's got their own story, and each story has a uniqueness to it, and they all deserve to be heard. So,
and I appreciate that. My story is just, I am incredibly lucky because for me, I didn't have chemo afterwards. I didn't have radiation afterwards. I was so incredibly lucky. And the fact that like, I didn't have to go through any of that. Like the doctor, when I came out, like the next day, the doctor, which by the way, real quick, Brittany, you may or may not get this, but Mike, do you have any idea what it's like to have like a 22-year-old pull a catheter out of you? Because that is the most awkward feeling in the entire world.
It's like a Beyblade.
I've been very fortunate. I've never had a catheter, but I don't think that I would really care what the age of the person was.
I did, because I looked at her and I apologized. I'm like, I'm so sorry you have to do this. She goes, this is what I get paid to do. I'm used to it. Don't worry about it. It's all about you getting better. And to that woman, like, thank you, Jesus.
Yeah.
I mean, she might have not have been 22. I was an old man at that point. I'm an old man now. Like, she could have been 40. I have no idea.
Yeah.
But in my head, she was like a med student from like USF.
Sure. Hey, they got to learn somewhere. I mean, good grief.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I think I had a very... different experience. I have lost family members to cancer as well. But hearing the word cancer, my response wasn't, oh no, it was like, I mean, once I got, through like researching a bunch of different medical terms, it was, oh, it's just skin cancer. And I got into counseling through a thing provided, my work provides some mental health resources. And, they basically offered like 10 free therapy sessions a year. They've bumped that up and it's changed how it works now. But
that's awesome.
I decided, well, this feels like something I should talk to someone about. Mm-hmm. So I made an appointment. I went through their little questionnaire so they could match me up with a therapist. The one that I got matched to, they gave me a few options. I picked this woman named Erica, because if there's anything I've learned from social media in the current era we're in, it's listen to Black women. And Erica was this lovely Black woman. And I'm like, I've heard listen to Black women. I'm going to see if we're a good fit. And I remember we were talking and she's like, I was like, yeah, but it's just skin cancer. And she's like, what do you mean it's just skin cancer? I'm like, it's not like a serious cancer, like, lymphoma or like, kidney cancer or colon cancer, or lung cancer. It's not, a bad, like, I was like, I mean, I know it's a bad cancer, but it's not, bad. Like, this isn't fatal or whatever. And that was just sort of how my brain was processing everything was, oh, I've got cancer, but I don't have like cancer. Like,
right.
It's
cancer with a little c, not cancer with a big C or whatever.
Yeah. It's like, oh yeah, but it's just a spot on my back. It'll be fine. And we talked, she's like, she's like, it's probably not the way to look at it, but she's like, I want you to think about it for next week. Like, what is that? Like, why is your reaction that it's not a bad cancer? Like, she's like, do some research. And she's like, just think about why that's your reaction. In the meantime, I was also in the process of moving. Because my lease was up at my apartment the same month that I got diagnosed and had surgery scheduled.
Oh, Lord.
I was planning to move in with Jay and Quincy, who very graciously were going to let me rent out space in their basement so that I could start saving up for a house. And basically the rent was going up so much that I couldn't find a reasonable rent around here. And it was either, basically move 1, 2, 3 hours away from my friends and my support network, or
I do remember that. Yeah.
Or figure it out. And my plan was to move in at the end of August. But then when I got diagnosed at the beginning of August, and Jay and Quincy actually went with me to the appointment, and we called Aaron in so that he could be part of my first oncology appointment. My oncologist was named Dr. Hinkstrom, and he's a really nice guy. He also I warned him in advance that I cope with humor, so he would understand that if I just start laughing, that's me processing.
Right.
So, he did his examination. He's like, yeah, we're definitely going to want to take this out. He's like, I'm going to have your sample resent to, our oncology team. He's like, nothing against your dermatologist. It's just, we like to test everything ourselves too, and verify. And it's like, okay, that's fine. Whatever. But Jen and Quincy let me go ahead and start moving some stuff over early, so that I could go ahead and be living here when my surgery happened. And honestly, I cannot possibly thank them enough for everything that they did, just helping me through surgery and recovery. Like, I had to get a drain put in, which basically just meant I had a little bit too much fluid that they couldn't fully close me up. They had to put a little tube in. If you met me the Thursday before SporkleCon,
yep,
that was hanging out on my person, because I had an appointment the next day to see if I could get it taken off, which I did, thankfully. But like, they would have to help literally like change the bandages and everything just to like keep it clean and all that. And they were wonderful about that. They also drove me and brought me home from surgery and kept my parents updated throughout the day as well.
Not to like derail here, Brittany,
Sure.
but like to tell your story, like Aaron is with you now, but you and Aaron were engaged at this point in time, or
kinda.
he
Ours
wasn't
is an
there.
interesting
He was
tale in
he was
that
still living in one of the Dakotas at that point. He was in North
yes,
Dakota, right?
yes. He was still living in North Dakota at the time. He was planning to come down for SporkleCon because he could stay for about a week-ish. And so it was like, well, do you want me down there for the surgery or do you want me down there for SporkleCon? And I'm like, I'm not going to be fun and like, I'm not going to be any fun with surgery. And I've got a support team here. So come down for SporkleCon. And then I have my follow-up the next week and you can come with me to that if you're okay with that. And of course he was because he's amazing.
Let's be clear though. You made the right call.
Yes.
Because we got to meet Aaron.
Yes.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I knew that would be important for him too, just to get to meet a lot of these people that we talked to online. But we were kind of engaged at that point. We hadn't done anything formal engagement wise. We had just agreed that at some point when it was the right time, we were going to get married.
Little did you know.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that was
Right.
being like, hey, we could do it this weekend, right?
Yep.
So, the SporkleCon
Was it that was it that short notice?
What?
It was that short notice.
That's the way I heard it, is that Jay basically said,
it was
we could just do it this weekend.
Wednesday. Yeah, it was the Wednesday night.
Mm-hmm.
So the night
I didn't know that.
The Sporkle pre-party. And so that Wednesday night we officially got engaged. Thursday we went downtown, had an appointment at the Cook County Courthouse, got our marriage license signed and everything, got our fee paid. That night we had the pre-party. The next day I had my appointment. I got my drain taken out, thankfully. And then on Saturday was when the boys had their car crash, and it was really scary and all that. And like all of a sudden everything just kind of, starts looking different and everything. Mm-hmm. And then Sunday we got married. We did the ceremony at SporkleCon, which is a whole different story that I owe the SporkleCon team because they've been asking for it. But our official ceremony was later that day. We went to Jay and Quincy's older son, Chris, who had to have surgery because both of his femurs were shattered. His surgery was that day.
What an eventful weekend that was.
Yeah.
My God.
But we knew he had wanted to be part of our wedding, so we did the official ceremony in his hospital room. He was not really conscious for it, to be fair, but
he was there.
He was there, and Jay did a very sweet little 3-minute ceremony there, and then because it had to be signed in Cook County, so we were still in Cook County, so it was okay to be signed.
Gotcha.
But that's a total derailment. But honestly, they've done so much for me. I can never ever properly thank them or repay them. They're wonderful.
They're amazing people.
Absolutely.
So there's that too.
But after that kind of week of starting to move stuff in and getting stuff ready for surgery and all that, I had another appointment with my counselor, and she asked me, she's like, have you thought about what you had said about it being just skin cancer? And I'm like, yeah, I know, it just still, I'm struggling for it to feel as serious as other cancers. And that's when she said, did you see in the news that Kelly Clarkson's ex-husband had died? And I was like, yeah, I briefly saw something about that, but I didn't actually look at what the story was. And she was like, he died from a malignant melanoma. So she's like, that is what you have. It doesn't matter where it is. Cancer is cancer.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And it is scary. And it is something I kind of described it as, I feel like I have imposter syndrome for cancer.
Oh God, I'm not the only one. Oh my God.
Because it wasn't that serious and I'm fine now. But there's still stuff you go through. thinking through, okay, it's still like, it's like literally surface level, but it's like, what if something goes, like, what are we looking for? What if something goes wrong? Like, what does this mean? Am I, do I have, let me go check my beneficiaries on my life insurance and accident insurance, and like, do I have everything lined up? Like, let me make sure I still haven't done a will or anything because I haven't gotten to that point where I've felt like I don't really feel like I have assets beyond what would be my life insurance. And like my 401k and stuff, which I've already set the beneficiaries up on. Like, I don't know if I need to set a will to, like, if something happened to me, who gets Simba kind of thing.
Right.
Like,
Me.
I mean, I feel like there would be a bidding war for Simba.
No doubt.
But
I'm allergic to cats, and I'm telling you, I'm getting Simba.
well, there you go. But it's still, it's like, okay, so this is serious, but it still feels like, it just still felt impostery to me. Like, it's like, have I really earned being able to share my experience about cancer? Or like, should I even mention it? Like, is it a big enough deal that I should tell people? And,
it's a big enough deal for you.
I told people directly in my life first, and then I messaged our frenemy host chat with Tim and Bainey and Sarah and let them know what was going on. And they immediately were like, do whatever you need to do. We've got the show covered. Take whatever time you need. Take care of yourself. The show, can wait. Like, we'll keep it running, kind of thing. And they really have. Like, it's like, shout out to them, because they are amazing and they've just kept the show running. Like, listeners of the show will realize I haven't been on my own show that much, but it just, some of it's been busyness, and other of it has been, I don't know what my life looks like more than a couple weeks out. So when it's like, oh, let's plan a show out in like a month, no. I'm like,
Ditto.
I don't know what I'm doing that day, actually. So
right.
So, but
you could benefit from some of the Hey You Up trivia. Just say, I am drunk.
I've
right
been
now.
on more episodes of Hey You Up trivia than
that's true.
I've been my own show recently, but no, but also, like, in disclosure here, one of the reasons I had talked to Chris about doing this podcast is because when I was talking to my therapist, Erica, she's like, so what other kind of things are you feeling? And I'm like, I feel guilty, like, because I have these amazing resources. I have an amazing support system. I have good enough insurance that I can get this taken care of. And all I can think of is about people who get this diagnosis and they're alone, or they don't have anyone. They're not in a good area for medical care. They don't have the right health insurance. They don't, we live in a for-profit healthcare system, which is the worst thing you could have when you're alone and in a point where it's scary. Like, people shouldn't have to consider whether or not to let themselves die from cancer because they're afraid of leaving their family in debt. Like, that shouldn't be a thing. And all I can think of is that, why me? Why am I, like, not why me, why did I get cancer? It's why am I getting to go through this with an amazing support system when there's so many people out there who aren't, who don't have this system.
Yeah.
I
get you.
And we had talked about what other stuff, because she wanted to know what I did for fun and stuff. And I talked about the podcast, and she was like, well, she's like, what if you did a podcast about it where you just talked about your experience and what it was like, and letting people know that there are people out there for you, even if you don't have them immediately. Like, there are people you can contact online. There are other survivor groups. There are communities you can connect with. And there are, if you don't know where to start, like, something as simple as like a podcast ad about ZocDoc.com. can be the difference between catching it when it's something you can deal with easily versus not catching it until it's too late or until it's a lot more difficult to deal with. But so I approached Chris with the idea, and here we are.
Yeah.
Like, but you say here we are. We're like 9 months later. It took me this long to.
I wasn't going to share
like,
that part.
but like I so like, it's part of my journey to getting here because like it's. I feel like anything I say about it is just. The imposter syndrome is freaking real with this because like I am so lucky. Comparatively, I am so lucky. So like I will say this. I remember it was after my surgery, and this is kind of vivid in my mind. It was after my surgery. I was home with my daughter. It was after I got cleared, and I must have taken like the day off of work. And I was in to see my doctor for something else, like something completely unrelated. I don't even remember what it was. But I remember I had like an early appointment and I had my daughter and she was overly fussy that morning because it was like 2022. She would have been what, a year and a half old, 18 months, 20 months old. And Sarah, my God, Brittany, I was talking to Sarah Bales before we came on the recording. So sorry. But like, I'm a little bit jealous in the fact that I'm envious of the fact that you are so, like, your first instinct was like, I need help with this. And like, I didn't have that in me. Like, I guess for whatever reason, I thought that like I had to kind of wear all of this myself and handle all of this myself. So I remember being post-surgery, like 6 months post-surgery, going in to see my doctor, and I had my daughter with me because it was some sort of a follow-up or whatever. And he kind of asked me how it's going, and I'm like, oh, it's going okay. And he looked at me, he goes, we were talking about like my blood pressure and other things. He goes, dude, how are you doing from an anxiety level? I'm like, I don't really feel like I have anxiety. He goes, you're a ball of anxiety. He's like, meditate, go talk to somebody, do something. But, this is like vivid. Like, this is like real, like to be real. He looked at me in the eye. He goes, I guarantee, he goes, if you're like this in 5 years, you won't be here. And that was like my wake up call that like I needed help. And like I have since found a therapist that I really jive with. And like my first session was literally an hour-long session, 50 minutes of it was crying. And it was just like, here's how I got to be this messed up. Help me. And like the therapy aspect that never kind of crossed my mind has been the thing that's brought me the most inner peace and made me the most balanced version of myself that I think I've ever been. So like happy coincidences, like if this doesn't happen, I don't get to where I'm at right now. And I have my struggles. The thing with me is that like, I know what my triggers are. I know what my struggles are. I know what I'm always going to struggle with. And it's not about getting better. It's about finding coping mechanisms and way to get around that stop me from tunneling. I death spiral like most people, but like I will death spiral to the point where the smallest thing could put me in a place where nothing's going to go right. I don't get there without this. And I think back to like the steps that got me to where I am now. And like, if the doctor doesn't tell me this, it doesn't get there. But if I don't have cancer, I probably don't get there. And so what I'm trying to focus on, like, first off, I'm absolutely jealous of the fact that you had and I'm jealous in a really good way and proud in a really good way to call you a friend because like you knew that you needed something. Like you had the fortitude and the self-knowledge to say, I need this. I didn't. It took me someone slapping me beside the back of my head. And after I got into therapy, it was like, I should have been doing this for shit since I was 18.
I will say I kind of amended my story a little bit. That wasn't my first instinct. Like, here's my thing. I have anxiety, generalized anxiety disorder, and specifically also social anxiety. So I know myself well enough to know that if I had not told specific people that I was going to get this biopsy done, I would have never told anyone. I would have dealt with it on my own. But because I told people, they asked me, and then I would have felt guilty lying to them. So I told them so that I wouldn't feel guilty. The being like, I should see a therapist thing was honestly just because the resource was there for my work. I have a thing with talk therapy where I've tried it multiple times in the past and I have struggled with it. I am looking at potentially getting back into it again, but this was specifically like basically meeting with someone who can help you deal with both life and work related stresses, and I felt like I'm one of two people who does my job. If anything was going to kick me in the pants enough to make me actually like schedule a therapy session, cancer felt like a good enough reason to do it.
Right.
Amen.
I was stressed about how work stuff was going to go. I was stressed about how, life stuff was going. And it just was, it was something that Xanax wasn't completely taking away. So, but literally it just, it was things lining up at the right time of, yeah, let me go do this. Let me make sure I say this to people who are going to pester me about it if they don't get any answers from me. Hi Jay, love you. Also Aaron definitely would have pestered me about it. And, it was knowing that I had these people there, but again, it still was hard for me to even start talking to a therapist about it.
You bring up something interesting, and I think this is an apropos time. I know we're like at the hour mark now, so for the three people that are still listening, thank you. But this is legitimately more therapy for me than it is anything else. But like, I didn't go public with it. Like, I told select groups of people what was going on, but I didn't really go public with it. And I honestly think like the most impactful thing to me is I told select people what was going on afterwards. So like Mike, I know I told I think you and Dan in a text message.
Yep.
And I told my friends Adam and Jake in a text message, and Adam and Jake and Sarah in a text message. And like for me, the thing that was most impactful was the fact that the people that I chose to tell, like my immediate family, my closest friends, and like after I kind of shared that, and Mike at the top of that list were like, it wasn't just like, hey, I feel sorry for you, let's talk about how you're doing. It was more of a like, it felt like a concentrated effort to engage me in conversation and to kind of keep me engaged through just genuine friendship that I'm gonna cry now, but like, Mike, I don't know if you'll ever realize how much that meant to me.
I don't feel like I did jack shit, so I'm glad whatever. I don't even remember, but I don't remember doing anything. I'm glad whatever I did was impactful. I honestly don't remember feeling like I did a whole lot, but I mean, we bullshitted a lot on podcasts. I mean, I know we definitely did that. I'm sure, but I'm glad. Hey, I'm there for you, bro.
But like, that's the part that I don't think people maybe don't talk about enough. Like, it's the support group and the relationships we have that make this, like, this is like before the PTE network, Brittany, I think before I even knew you.
Oh yeah.
And so like the Gores were like a vital part of my recovery.
Yep.
Mike and Nikki and Adam and Jake. Like, I remember Jake like texting me like religiously every week, "Hey bro, how you doing?" Or giving me shit about FSU football because shocking, we weren't good back then. Hey, guess what? We're still that good now. But that wasn't what it was about. Like, it always kind of felt like it was about building and keeping the camaraderie and the spirits up, and it feels good to have people know they genuinely are concerned about you and care about you. So
yeah.
Who's got a joke?
Not me.
So I mean, I do have a joke that I use to get myself through stuff.
Okay.
Okay.
For those who don't know that I love puns, but
this is brand new information.
I know. I made a joke, and I'm just joking on my own expense. But you know, like when people would say, "Well, how are you coping? Like, how are you staying positive and, you know, knowing that you'll make it through?" And I was like, well, it's because it's called cancer, not can't, sir. So, that was my own stupid little joke that kept me going.
I like that though.
And you know, it's very hit or miss on who you're making the joke to. Like,
sure.
I know, Chris.
I'm jealous. I am mad that I didn't hear that until right now, because that would have gotten me through a lot back in 2022.
But like, I just like Chris and I were talking about it earlier. Like, we are both people who cope by making jokes and laughing and stuff, and some people aren't, and that is very fair. And I think it's kind of like grieving, in that there's not a wrong way to deal with the news, except for not dealing with it. Because not dealing with it just makes the problem worse. I mean, like, literally, that's how cancer cell replication works. The longer you wait, the worse it gets.
Yep.
And I don't know, basically since then, I feel like one of my sign-offs has been, if you have a spot you're worried about, get that shit checked out. Like, I know healthcare is a bummer, to say the least. I know it's difficult, but like, legitimately, if there is something that you think is wrong, you are better safe than sorry. Because at a certain point, they can't deal with it.
Right.
And it's said that if we live to be old enough, we'll all get some kind of cancer, because the older you get, the more radical your cells become. I was a biology major in college, so one of the other ways I dealt with it was keeping everything very scientific and fact-based, and lots of big sciencey words, even though I had to look up what a lot of them meant.
No.
Because I was...
Hold on, I live in Florida. What is this science you're talking about?
Science? It is a subject that Florida is trying to stop teaching.
We'd have to start to have that be
yeah. No, but like, looking at scientific information helped me like know, and it's like, you know, it got to the point where I was looking through things. I'm like, okay, so if they find this, it's this. If they don't find this, it's this. And like, neither is great. But I had basically figured out, like, because I didn't get my full staging until I had my tumorectomy. Like, until the tumor was removed and analyzed in a lab. I found out a few weeks later that what I had was type 2A, which means that it was larger and it had started to spread and might have been found in nearby lymph nodes, but it wasn't, which is why it was 2A and not 2B. 2B
or not 2B.
Yes, 2B or not 2B.
She literally said not 2B, Chris. Like, weren't you even listening?
Yeah.
Mike, I'm from Florida. She's a woman. I don't listen when she talks.
And thankfully,
sorry,
where they caught it.
I apologize for that joke.
That's good.
Even though the tumor actually ended up being bigger than they thought it was, because originally when they did my surgery, they told me that I should expect a scar of about 2 to 3 inches for what they had to go in and get. I ended up with a scar that is about 7 inches. long.
Hold on, is that what 7 inches actually looks like?
I think so.
I have no point of reference. I'm just curious.
Yeah.
I was there were so many different jokes that I was
Yeah.
going through my head, and I couldn't even decide on which one I was going to make. So
Yeah.
I went juvenile.
of course,
Yeah,
we're all juvenile.
Like,
I mean, juvenile was a given.
I mean, juvenile would have been 6, 7.
Yeah.
Sorry for all teachers who are listening, or parents, I guess. But yeah, so it was to the point where I had done enough research and found that kind of stuff out. But I also could have, but I was comfortable doing that because I had a support network.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have a support network, I would seriously just put in a search engine, your local area, cancer survivor groups or cancer support groups.
Mm-hmm.
Because if nothing else, you'll meet people who are going through or have gone through the same things you have. And also, people in those groups will know resources that you may not know of.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
There's always American Cancer Society, and they do have a lot of great information on their website. I use that for looking up typing and, what the systems were and stuff like that. But, there's more than that, and there's stuff that's more local to you, and where you are located is going to affect, I think, what you're able to find. But, and I think the other thing that I guess, doesn't hit you until afterward is dealing with cancer is not a one and done thing. I don't know how yours is, Chris, but mine, I have a 5-year plan at this point. And it's, I have to go see the dermatologist every 3 months to get all of my skin completely scanned for any possible reemergences. I see my oncologist every 3 to 6 months. I did agree to do some testing there is a company called Signatera, and they have developed basically DNA tracing for your cancer cells. And they've been using it for years for things like colon cancer and breast cancer. But it's recently been approved for use in melanoma studies. So I agreed to be part of, it's not a trial necessarily, but I'm one of the newer users for melanoma. But essentially every 3 months, a phlebotomist comes to my house, takes my blood, and the first time they did it, they compared it to the cancer cells in my tumor. So they screen me every 3 months to see if they detect any cancer cells in my blood. So I'm set for that for the next 5 years as well. And then the 5 years is just the first 2 years, every 3 months I see my dermatologist, and for 3 years I see them every 6 months. And then after that, I still have to go once a year. This is I will be dealing with this for the rest of my life. And also the things that don't necessarily come out until you hear, until you find more stuff out. If you get cancer once, your susceptibility to developing cancer later in life is increased from the average person.
Yep.
And with mine, the malignant melanoma, those are most common in adults in their 60s and 70s. I got mine when I was 35 is when I got diagnosed. So that's, I hope, a lot of life left, but to be cognizant of and tracking. And so it's just it's one of those things that, not that I wish I had known before, but it was just something that I guess I was sort of surprised to learn, was that this is ongoing. It is going to be part of me, even though it's not literally part of me anymore.
Yep.
It is going to be part of my life going forward. Because I survived cancer, even if I didn't take it as seriously as I should. That's what it looks like from there. there's a certain amount of time you have to wait before you can donate blood. And donating blood is something that is important to me. But I have to wait a certain amount of time before I'd even be considered eligible for blood donation again. And that's the kind of things that, you know, maybe it's not the most common things to think of not being able to do if you get cancer. But that's one of the things I thought of is I can't potentially I can't ever give blood again.
Yeah.
But also now I not only have to deal with the fact that I'm allergic to the sun every summer, I also have to deal with the fact that I've had skin cancer. And so now I have to be extra protective of and extra aware of how much time I'm spending in the sun. Mm-hmm. And I made the mistake of moving out of Washington State. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
The cost of living means that was not a mistake. But
no, definitely not.
Well, that and the shiny vampires.
Yeah, well, you know, I'd fit right in. It's fine. But no, I don't. It's a weird conversation to have, especially when we're relatively young, in our 30s and 40s. Mm-hmm. Because to an extent, a lot of times you think of cancer as something. I feel like I always think of it in extremes. It's either old people or it's kids.
Yeah.
And I have to say, as an adult dealing with this, I don't know how kids do it. Like, no kid should ever have to deal with this, and I hate that it's a thing, but those kids have got to be some of the strongest people. Like, I can't imagine going through this younger. Mm-mm. And I don't want to imagine anyone going through it younger, but I don't know where I was going with that, but just
no, it's don't have to go anywhere with it. I think that
I think
it's hard.
It's hard for me. Like I always kind of listen. I'm a pop culture nut. Like people get that, but like for me, I kind of think back to like there are two musicians in the last couple of years that we've lost. That were foundational to my life that we lost to cancer. One, way too young. But Brittany, Jimmy Buffett passed from skin cancer.
I did not know that. I knew he had passed away from cancer. I did not know what type.
So Jimmy Buffett was skin cancer, and then Brad Arnold, the lead singer of Three Doors Down, passed from kidney cancer. And like for me, these are like I listened. Three Doors Down was one of those bands that got me through college. Like think about like Loser and the entire album of Away from the Sun just got me through college. Like hearing that and hearing that he had the same thing I did, and he's only a few years older than me, hit me like a ton of freaking bricks. Yeah. And I still listen to a lot of Jimmy Buffett. I like Jimmy Buffett. I like his deeper cuts actually more than his pop hits or his pop hit. He only had the one, but like I love Jimmy Buffett, and there's his entire last album. Just kind of keep this in mind. His entire last album is called Bubbles Up. He wrote the entirety of that album knowing he was going to pass. That was his swan song. Like he knew the end was here, and that was what he wanted to tell people. And that song Bubbles Up will make me cry to this day because it's so positive and reaffirming. And like I am so jealous of people that can be that way at that point in life, because I was nowhere near that point in that life, and I wasn't that way. But like, yeah, like just know that you are loved. There's light up above, and joy. There's never enough, or there's always enough. Sorry. That's kind of where I try and bring myself to when I'm having bad days, and like they still happen more often than I want to admit, more often than Brittany wants to admit. Like it's never far from my mind, as bad as that is to say.
Makes sense.
For me, it hits every so often. Like it's not an active thought I have, but every so often I remember, oh yeah, I went through that. That's part of me. Now, to be
Not
completely
anymore.
fair, that's also how my brain handles the fact I was on Jeopardy. Is that I'm like, oh yeah, I did that. like literally, there are times I forget I was on Jeopardy because I'll be like, oh, maybe I should try out for the show. Like, wait, hold on. Yeah. No.
I have good news. If you want to try out for the pub trivia experience, Brittany, I know a guy.
Oh, I would love to try out for the pub trivia experience.
Okay. We are recording on Monday, right?
Yeah, I think so. That sounds right.
Yes, we are.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm not a big pop culture person. Not that I don't enjoy pop culture. I just haven't had a lot of exposure to it. But I remember the day that I got my diagnosis, which was the day before I talked to my doctor about my diagnosis, because I did that thing that I said you shouldn't do, which is read your mind chart.
Don't do it.
Talking to your doctor. But in my defense, I thought I was going to be talking to my doctor in like an hour. I didn't realize it was going to be an overnight situation. So I had decided to put on some TV to distract myself. And at the time, I was sort of binging through Chicago Med. Which, maybe a medical show wasn't the best choice, but it's what I had been watching. So I turned on Chicago Med. I was like mid-episode when I had paused to look at all this stuff. And I kid you not, the scene opens and the next words that come out of the TV are, wait, I have cancer? And I was like, are you kidding me? Next words on this show? So, sorry, Chicago Med, I have not watched you a lot since then because I just kind of needed to not.
Yeah.
I needed to nope away from that. I think I went and watched something in Star Wars instead because Galaxy long time ago, they have it figured out. Far away long ago. It's one of those things. You see celebrities that pass away from cancer, like was it James Vanderbeek just passed from a long battle?
Yeah. Oh my God, that was that one hurt. Yeah.
There's it's to kind of, pop culture kind of I think is a way, and this kind of goes back to what I was saying before. It is a way that a lot of people sort of keep in tune with the fact that like as Brittany was saying, even though you commonly think of cancer, kind of at the two extremes, that there's folks that are our age that are also that also have to deal with these things, and we see it. It's kind of like the thing about at our age now, we're starting to know a lot more people that are dealing with these kinds of things, and pop, celebrities in particular, like these cultural touch points, and people, I think it's but I think that ultimately having this conversation, having these kinds of things is it's a great service to provide, because it keeps everybody in tune with the fact that everybody's has experiences with these things. Not everybody, but you know what I mean. Like there are people that it's not like 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. You can there's someone in your life that has dealt with these kind of things, and yeah, like I was saying before, all of their stories are different, and all their stories are unique. So I really, and I think I also think too, it takes a lot of courage to get in front of a micro. I mean, we get in front of microphones all the damn time, but still, it takes a lot. In this particular case, it takes a lot of courage to get in front of a microphone and actually just tell your story. So I appreciate both you guys for coming on here and talking. I was just kind of a fly on the wall, but and I hope that folks out there that are listening to it just appreciate that everybody's got their own individual journey, and appreciate y'all too sharing it with us. I know we've got a very strong community with us, and I think a lot of folks are going to really appreciate y'all opening up about this. You have any final thoughts you want to leave anybody with? Chris, you can go first.
Honestly, like I kind of take this out of the big C and kind of put it more toward general feeling of like, if you're not okay, get help. If you're not, it's 100% okay to ask for help. And that's not just from a like, oh, I can't lift this washing machine by myself. It's from a, I can't lift this mental boulder by myself, or I don't know where to go from here. Like, I am living proof that therapy can change your direction, or at least help emphasize and enhance the person that you are. Now, if you don't like who I am, then maybe don't. But by and large,
if you don't like who Chris is at this point, you can fuck off.
If you don't like who Chris is, you've been listening to this for a very long time.
Yeah, exactly. Like we all hate. I mean, we all have our own like things that we hate watch or hate listen, I suppose. But damn.
No, but seriously,
we love you, Chris.
Love you all too. But seriously, like, it's okay to not be okay. But my mentality has always been, and I'm not putting in my mentality on anybody else. My mentality has kind of been, for me, is like, it's okay to not be okay, but it's not okay to stay that way. Like, take steps to get better, and realize that there are people out there that genuinely want you to be the best version of yourself. And if you can't be the best version of yourself, be a version of yourself that's okay with who you are at that point in time.
Your best looks different day to day.
Also true. Yeah.
Also, your best is usually without pants on.
That's what I hear. I mean,
I thought he was directing that at me. What?
I just meant generally life is better with no pants on, right?
True.
We're not talking about General Lee. I know this is Florida, but we can go somewhere else.
Brittany, you have any other thoughts?
I think Chris said a lot of what I was going to say. I will use my traditional, if you've got somewhere you're concerned about, get that shit checked. ZocDoc.com is actually a wonderful resource, especially if you're not sure where to start looking for something. It is completely free to use. I wouldn't. It made things a lot easier for when I needed to get stuff checked out. Find your people. If you don't already have them around you, look for local people. Find the people who can be a support to you as you go through this, because this is something that I would say is almost impossible to get through alone.
Mm-hmm.
More than likely someone you know has dealt with it in some way. And it is scary to talk about, but I think talking about it helps make it less scary to talk about. Mm-hmm. There's a certain stigma around it, and helping to destigmatize it by talking about it makes it easier for other people to talk about it. Otherwise I think just fuck cancer.
Fuck cancer.
Amen.
On that note, I think fuck cancer that's basically how we started the episode. I think it's a great way to end the episode. Once again, thank you guys for jumping on and sharing your experiences with us for the PTE Network. I've been Mike.
I've been Chris.
And I've been Brittany.
All right. Thanks for tuning in, everybody.
That's Aaron.
And that's Aaron.